Hi guys, welcome to my channel. I am Teresa from Dreamcatcher Fitness, and I recently was diagnosed with lupus, SLE, systemic lupus erythematosus. I'll put it right here. I can't pronounce it, but that's okay. Also was diagnosed with Sjogren's, and I've already had Hashimoto's, and I've already had ITP, which is idiopathic thrombocytopenia purpura, which is a blood clot or blood platelet disorder. So pretty much my body is like a jerk and attacks everything all the time. So I wanted to talk about my actual leading up to my diagnosis, because if you are watching this, I'm assuming that you may think that you have lupus. So this is to, make you feel not as alone, because I scoured and scoured for hours and hours just trying to find answers. So, yeah, let's dive into it. Okay, guys, so the first thing I want to let you know is that looking back, I've definitely had it for years, but I'm a personal trainer, and I've been physically active for 7 years now when I started my lifestyle journey. So I always attributed everything to overtraining. I had no idea what was going on with my body. I'm going to speed up to November of 2020, because that is when everything hit the fan, for lack of a better phrase. I started to have issues with my short-term memory in November of 2020. I didn't really think too much of it. I've got 4 kids, 2 being under 4, or a 4-year-old and a 2-year-old now. So he was 1 year old when all my symptoms started, really bad, to where it was an everyday occurrence. It wasn't just a flare here and there and I would feel amazing in between, you know what I mean? It was every single day. So it started with the memory issues. My husband started saying, like, I don't understand. I just told you this. Like, why, what's going on? Why can't you remember? Or I would, just on top of normal mom brain, you know what I mean? Like, going somewhere, forgetting why I was there. Things weren't looking familiar when I was driving. I've lived in the same city for years and years and years, and drove down the main road bazillions of times, and I wouldn't remember houses being there. Things just didn't look the same. And then probably about February, that progressively started to get worse. Probably January, February-ish of 2021, I started having like a really crazy pain under my armpit. It started with my hands tingling, and then my entire arm went numb, excruciatingly painful, but then it went numb, and it felt like, if you've ever had surgery where they sever the nerves and then they grow back, just that weird feeling, and even to this day it still feels weird. But that's kind of what started to happen. I lost grip in my right side. I started noticing things on my right side of my leg, like I thought I was having a stroke. I went to the emergency room. Everything was fine. They did a MRI of my brain and they did a CAT scan of my brain in the emergency room. Everything was fine. Because originally I thought I had MS because of the tingling and all of this stuff that was happening. I get nose sores inside of my nose, mouth sores, fever blisters, stuff like that, but I get them inside of my nose. So went to the emergency room. I ended up going to my primary care doctor because I was like, something's not right. I thought I'm a personal trainer, so I was like, well, maybe I pinched a nerve or something, and that's why my hands are going numb. But it got to the point to where I couldn't grip things. I was having a hard time holding my child walking up the stairs. When I would work out my legs, I would get electrical pulses down my right leg, like just to where it literally felt like electricity was shooting down my leg. And I couldn't understand what the hell was going on. So, fast forward to my primary care doctor, where I went in and told him what was going on. Of course, you're young, you're active, you're in physical, you know, you're in great shape. I'm sure everything's fine. You probably just pinched a nerve, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, it's been 2 months. It should be better by now. It's definitely not a pinched nerve. I told him. He performed a short-term memory test in office, which I failed. So then he gave me a referral to a neurologist. So fast forward to March of 2021. Okay, so I went to a neurologist who did an MRI. The MRI was totally fine. He did an EEG, which is the brain waves. So he did an EEG, which my right side of my brain, the brain waves were slower on that side of my brain. I did a nerve test, which was not very fun, on my right side, which showed weakness on the right side. And then I actually went to a neurologist, a neurological psychologist, and had the full memory test done, which I failed a few of those areas, which like when I was drawing a clock, for instance, I forgot the 9, 10, 11, 12 when they told me to trace or copy what I saw. So I was diagnosed with ADHD, which makes so much sense from when I was growing up. She said I had cognitive dysfunction, unknown source. She didn't think it was dementia or like early onset Alzheimer's or anything like that. So pretty much after all of the testing, my neurologist was like, something's wrong, but we don't know what's causing it. Great. So because he said there was nothing structural, so there was no mass or anything like that, but it's definitely functional. So something is going on, we just don't know what. I actually was in the middle of a very bad flare when I went to the neurologist, and then really randomly, it just started to get better in June. So for that flare, that neurological flare, had lasted from November all the way until probably May or June, and then it started to get a little better. Now, we went on vacation, and I was in the sun for maybe 10 minutes. It was cloudy as heck. We were in California, we were on the beach. It was super cloudy, but everybody knows you can get very burnt even in cloudy weather. So no matter how much sunscreen I put on, it didn't work. I was like, what is going on with my body? That's so weird. Well, the first day we were there, it was super cloudy. The baby was taking a nap. I'm like, I'm gonna go sit out in the clouds and just enjoy the beautiful weather, right? 10 minutes, you guys, I got so burnt on my chest. I'll see if I can put a picture up for you. I got so burnt on my chest. I've never been burnt like that for 10 minutes. It was insane. My face got so cherry red. It was so burnt. I had like this crazy line. And then, you guys, my knees swelled up so big, and I got like this crazy rash on my knees, and it hurt. Like my skin was tight, and I'm like, what is going on? And for years, I've had like the butterfly rash. I did a video if you wanted to check that out about what I use and what helps me. But I had the butterfly rash for years, and I thought it was rosacea. I had no clue it was a lupus rash. All my doctors told me it was rosacea. Like, no one figured it out. So that was the first time that I had noticed photosensitivity, where it was very prominent. Like, people were like, what is going on? Like, you are so red, holy cow. So that was another sign that something wasn't right. So let's talk about the dreaded fatigue that comes along with lupus, or any autoimmune diseases, really. Your body's pretty much in overdrive, right? So you're attacking, your body is attacking itself, essentially. So my very first flare that was serious enough to cause me alarm, it attacked my neurological system. So that flare had died away in May or June, and then in August, I live in Arizona, so it's extremely, extremely hot. In the summers, I don't feel very good. I get extremely fatigued. I just thought it was normal, me getting old. I'm 42, I have 4 kids. Like, I just thought I was tired, whatever. But it got to the point in October, September, no, not October, I'm sorry. So in August, it started again, a flare. I could feel it starting. My legs felt weird. They just felt very heavy when I would try to walk. It was difficult for me to get up the stairs. I'm not joking when I say everything hurt. Everything hurt. My feet, my ankles, my knees, my hips, my shoulders, every joint on my body hurt. It was excruciating to walk up the stairs. If you've ever had growing pains or shin splints, that deep muscular pain, my entire body felt like that. I couldn't stand up in the shower. Like, I had to literally sit down in the shower. It was the most intense, crazy fatigue that I've ever felt. And my body was just tired, you know? So finally, I ended up calling a rheumatologist who I felt listened to, you know? I was an advocate for myself, and I'm really glad that I pushed, because she did a full barrage of tests, and I ended up testing positive for SSA-RHO. I'll write it here so you can see it, but I ended up testing positive for that. I tested positive for it years ago when I was but when I was pregnant with my 4th child, and my OB missed it. We thought all the problems I was having during my pregnancy was from my ITP, which is my blood platelet disorder. Everything kind of acts up when I'm pregnant, so it was a really dangerous situation for me and the baby. So we all just thought it was from that instead of actually being lupus related. So I tested positive for the SSA-RHO, I tested positive for the ANA. I had a homogeneous pattern, and my titer was 320 or something like that, which means I was in the middle of a flare. You guys, can I just tell you that I wanted to cry, because when I read all of that stuff, it made me understand that I'm not crazy. So I went into the doctor's office after all the blood work came back. She told me all of my symptoms were lupus, but I also tested positive for Sjogren's, which makes a lot of sense now, as far as like the dryness in my eyes and the female areas, and my mouth just constantly feeling like parched, you know, the joint pain, just everything that I'm feeling. So yeah, it's been a journey. I wanted to share everything with you because I just feel like there's so little information out there. I am extremely physically active, so when my grip gave out and I couldn't lift a quarter of what I would normally lift, I knew something was wrong. And this is where I need you to be a huge advocate for yourself. It is extremely important that you push when you feel like something is wrong. We know our bodies, and when you have to sit down in the shower because you can't hold your arms up to wash your hair, to wash your body, to pick your child up and take him up the stairs, when you can't pick up a 5-pound dumbbell because it hurts too bad, like that's a red flag, guys. It affects 9 out of 10 of the patients that are diagnosed with lupus are women. So especially if you're a woman, please take it seriously. Get into the doctor and just talk to somebody, about your symptoms. And if they tell you you're too young, you guys, find another doctor that listens to you. I'm so glad that I didn't listen to my primary care. But when I think about it, you guys, I've had this for years. My first experience was my ankles swelling up so bad that I couldn't walk, and I was doing insanity. So I attributed it to overuse, but it was bad. It was so bad that I couldn't walk, and it took, a good month or two of not doing anything for that to get better. My thumbs swelled up. I couldn't grip anything with my thumbs, and still to this day they're really messed up. My hips locked up in a race that I was doing I did Tough Mudder, and about a third of the way through my hips locked up and I could not walk. There's been signs, there's been symptoms, but it's like when you're that physically active, you think that it's just your body fighting you back. Like, okay, lady, you need to calm down. You went a little crazy. Now we're going to show you that you can't walk for 2 weeks. You know what I mean? It's like I would do a 5K and be in bed for 6 days because I could not physically get out of bed. So, you know, that's not a normal recovery process when you've pushed your body too far, you know? So I just feel like I just really wanted to share this as an athlete, as somebody who is very physically active, who loves to push my body. Those are not normal recoveries. Those are not normal length, you know, for your body to get back to normal. It should not take, you know, you shouldn't swell up that big and have issues walking for 6 weeks after you've pushed, you know. So just listen to your body. You know, there's so many signs and symptoms of this disease. Oh my gosh, the depression, the anxiety. Man, we're gonna take a break. Okay, so the anxiety, after I had my son, the anxiety was so bad that I was in a very, very, very dark place. I got put on medication to try to help me. It dulled it, but it was still there. It's still there now. It's very bad. So when you feel chronically ill, when you have chronic illness and you're hurting all the time and you're swollen and you just feel like crap, it messes with you mentally so bad. I've had depression, the worst that I've ever had it in my whole life. I've had anxiety, the worst that I've had it in my whole life. But now I don't feel crazy. I feel validated. Like, you're okay. Like, you're going to be okay. You're going to figure this out. You're going to navigate it. And I will be okay. Now that I know the why behind what's going on. And once you get answers, you guys, it's just so validating. You just feel like, all right, I'm not crazy. Like, there's something seriously going on, you know? So, just know I'm going to be doing a series about my journey. I literally just got diagnosed 2 weeks ago, you guys. I am on hydroxychloroquine, 200 milligrams only. I opted not to do steroids because I feel like my flare is kind of at the tail end and I'm getting a little bit better right now. So I am taking that. I've been on that for about a week and a half. Not really noticing anything as of yet, but it's a very slow acting drug and it takes a long time to get built up in your system. So I'm going to be documenting my journey. I'm also going to be documenting my workouts and taking you guys through some workouts because there is no information out there for us. There's just not. And when I was looking into programs, you know, the anti-inflammatory diets, like just any kind of pertinent information for me being physically active already, and it's just not there. So I found my calling. So I will be here to help in any way that I can. Yeah, and I look forward, you know, to helping as many women as I can because that is my purpose. I want to give as many women as I can hope. Because there were just so little answers out there. So much love. Hit subscribe, and you know, if you like what you saw, if you want a little bit of motivation or have questions or anything, just please you know, contact us or contact me or shoot me questions, drop a DM, whatever you you know, if you have questions. So